Hey everybody, welcome back into Roosters. It is a fun, casual joint, and it is time for a fun, casual conversation in the Horseshoe Lounge for the podcast. I'm off to a great start.
Great start.
Happy Monday.
Happy
It's Monday, yes.
I'll get the words out eventually, I promise. That's Justin Zwick.
Oh, man.
Zwick, it sounds...
We get a timeout
Jay-Z.
here. What's going on?
No, we're going through. I'm just too excited to go to Disney World this week. It's Bobby Carpenter,
Oh, goodness.
Nicole Cox, and I am Austin.
Oh,
You
that
got some
sounds
tips for Disney for me?
terrible.
It's your first time going?
It's not my first time going. It's the first
Don't
time
do
going
it.
with a
child?
near 6-year-old, yeah.
Yeah, 6 is about, I tell people, 6 is about the baseline that you can go because she has the ability, much like at like 6 months, you can let a new, or 3 months, whatever, they can sleep like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Liberty can make it the whole day. But
Yeah.
you just have to make sure she's getting
but day
rest at
after
night.
day, yeah.
I'm worried about it. The
My-
competitive excellence, competitive stamina.
We went in 2019 and we didn't take our youngest because he was like 3, and we took our oldest 3 and our youngest of that group was 6, and he was able to get it done. And we would get there like at sunrise, rock it all day, and they did Epcot the day before I got there, and then we did Hollywood, Magic Kingdom, and then Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
And we did. I mean, they did them all, and you can do it. It'll be fine. I mean, she'll be good. Just, hey, make sure we're sitting down for lunch.
Do not
relax a
do
little bit.
BB to Bop Boutique.
No, we're not scheduled for that.
Oh, gosh.
It was requested.
I did that.
And I
I
didn't
was
have-
there for one day, and we did that, and
See-
I wanted to jump off the castle after lunch.
Here's the problem.
I feel like you should do it though for
Oh,
her.
no.
No?
We did the one princess. We did
For
one of the little
him, for his
princess.
sanity.
We did the there was like a Beauty and the Beast deal.
She's getting
She
to
went
go.
in.
She doesn't need BB Bop Boutique.
Yeah.
Like, she's at the park.
That's the thing that, because Allie and I went just together as adults back when I worked at ESPN, and it was half the price.
That's what we did.
That helps.
That
yeah.
was ideal.
Coach.
Yeah.
We spent. We spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we had free
Not
gate
cheap.
passes, 30% off rooms, and half off all food. And I'm like, that basically brought it down to normal vacation.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
And I
That's
was
very
like,
true.
I was like,
like-
why did we do this still?
This hamburger's now only $13 as
Oh.
opposed to $26.
Epcot was still
Dude, the food was.
worth
I
it
think
for
I had a
us.
$150 chicken breast
Yeah,
in the
of
castle,
course.
and it was dry. And I was like,
Yeah,
"What
that
am I
was-
doing here? I don't care about the princesses walking around. I just want a good meal."
What do you think, Nicole?
Tough.
Are we gonna make it?
You're going to make it. It's going to be great.
How many days?
I would take a stroller for her though. I know
for
she's
sure.
6,
Yes.
but I would still take a stroller.
Yeah, I carried Colin. And listen, that's what you got Austin. He's like a pack. He's a Sherpa. He can load her up on his shoulders.
Go on the shoulder. She does like that. And we were training, last week on Thursday night, family walk, and we had gone about 100 yards, and she said, my feet hurt. And I was like,
Ooh.
I'm canceling the trip right now.
Coach,
That's-
we walked
I
at
love
least.
that you were training. Now this
Yes,
is
yes.
amazing.
Well, we walked at least 8 miles every day.
yeah.
I mean, I think one day was 9.5. Like I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
Well, and I told Bob I've been getting back into the gym, trying to get things corrected.
Hey.
It was obviously all for Disney because it's going to be a grind.
It will be a grind. There's no doubt in that. But definitely bring the stroller for her.
That honestly isn't a bad idea.
It's gotta be. It's not too hot down there.
What are the
right now,
plans?
is
Are we
it?
just doing Magic Kingdom? Do we do
Got
it?
all 4 parks, so we're leaving Wednesday.
Does she like the Marvel and the
She likes Marvel. We went to Guardians of the Galaxy on Friday.
how good
Was it
was-
good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Is it sad?
Oh, yeah.
It is sad. It's really
Oh, yeah.
good.
Bronson refuses to see it because he's scared Rocket dies.
How is it
Oh,
sad?
Well,
No, I'm like, don't give away
we can't-
anything.
No spoilers.
Never mind. We won't.
Is it the last one? Or are they like done with it?
Well, because the director's leaving and he's going to DC. The lady
He's
that,
going to DC.
yeah, the lady
James
that
Gunn.
the lady that plays Gamora, she said she's done. Batista said he's done with it because I couldn't do this just for a paycheck. I think, when you have the makeup, I think he probably is in makeup for like 2.5 hours every day to get
Yeah,
looking
that
like
has
that.
to be tough, right?
So maybe he's like some of those guys are like never say never in the future. Like, and then Pratt was like, if it makes sense. And I guess
But it does seem to make sense for him.
for him, I think that it could.
The legendary Star-Lord.
Yeah, the legendary Star-Lord. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of weave it because that's probably the one the kids like the most because there's a lot of humor involved. And it's a friendly banner, and it's like a group, and there's like a lot of camaraderie between it. So we saw it last night. I took the kids to IMAX at 7:30, and they powered the oldest 3, and they powered through, and got down there about 10 o'clock. But it was
No, she loves Marvel, and
she likes Star Wars.
She's not into Star Wars.
You like the Star Wars?
I like Star Wars, but I could take it or leave it. I don't think we need to go to the.
I've never
The
seen
ride.
Star
I will
Wars.
tell you this.
What's that?
I've never seen Star Wars.
Any of
It's a
them?
lie.
Any of them.
I don't believe that. Not even.
Okay, that's
They-
fine.
Mr.
I read.
Pop Culture
I was
over
reading a
And
book
you're
to
a
my
liar.
daughter the other day, and I was like reading this book as a children's book about Star Wars because her cousin loves it,
Yeah.
and so I'm reading. I'm like, huh. So this is what this is about.
Wow.
It's the Star Wars rides there are unreal. I mean, it's like being in the movie. They're not as much like a ride as much as it is like you're cruising around in a movie.
You could still do it though without having
Yeah.
seen the movie.
Oh, it's great.
So I think that's
I've been to Harry Potter. I've done the rides
Yeah.
there. I've never seen the movie.
Yeah.
Have you done the Avatar ride yet? Was that there?
It
when-
wasn't there. And she loves Avatar.
Coach, the Avatar ride is legit.
I've heard.
That's in Animal Kingdom, I believe.
Yeah.
And you're like riding one of the little pterodactyl guys. It's
Yeah,
I-
Lib likes. She's watching him on YouTube. She's like, "What are the rides there?" And I'm like, "Well, here we go. What's
Boom,
Avatar?"
yeah.
Is she
You
tall
ask,
enough?
here you go.
I think for everything except for maybe one.
is she 40?
Right.
Was it 40? I think
She's up. She's pretty tall for almost.
I don't know if
I-
it's
yeah,
42
she
or
is.
40. That was our big thing too. Is like our 6-year-old. I'm like, dude, you got to be this tall to be able to ride these. Or
Get some
it's a
lips in the
waste.
shoe. Some Bryce Youngs.
Yeah, we put some lips in there. It'll
Yeah.
be good.
to bring it back to a football.
we
I
put
mean-
like rolled
Yeah.
socks in my brother's
do that.
shoes when he was little.
The Avatar ride, you're sitting on it's like going to the arcade, except it's like this unbelievable 3-dimensional mind melt where you're just simply watching a screen. Yet
You're-
you feel like you're
You've
moving.
become an Avatar.
I'm getting
they have,
dizzy
like,
thinking about it.
There's like, did you do it?
No, well, I did
Oh.
the Harry Potter one. It was like video, and it's like I felt sick.
But
for
you,
a
Yeah,
like,
while.
dive
you
down.
Don't do it if
You
Yeah.
dive like over top of a waterfall. My stomach dropped even though I did was this. I mean, it was unreal. And like, cause they changed the smells. Like you go in the
Mhm.
sky through the woods and like, how is it damp in here now? What is the smell of leaves? Like, how do we have like the smell of like a forest floor?
Isn't it unreal that
Oh.
somebody has created that? I just love it.
They major in customer service. I mean, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I know.
Just don't get too drunk at night either, because it's going to be hot during the day.
No promises there.
Well, you won't be getting drunk during the day because you.
Isn't
you'll
there
be
like a world
bankrupt.
tour of
At
beers
Epcot,
or
yeah.
something
Yeah,
that they do
Epcot.
down
It's
there?
at Epcot.
Yeah.
Allie,
okay.
so when Allie and I did it, just the two of us, we made it around the world, and that was
It was a
Yeah.
day.
that was a day.
And then you lost liberty.
Well, yeah, we can't try it again, but at least we've already accomplished it once. Now Frozen's there, so that'll
Yeah.
take up our.
Because I don't know how much of the Marvel stuff they're building. I think basically a whole Marvel deal. Like that's going to
Yeah.
be their
We'll have
next.
to go back when they do that because I want to see it.
Yeah, it's good. The Star Wars stuff was great. That had just opened when we got there, and you could see them building all of the
Which is
Marvel
so cool.
universe. Like we went back and you rode like the old school Space Mountain and the Tower of Terror, which sounds elite, but I mean now you get on it and like this is really pretty sad relative to
Guys, I
everything
don't
else.
think Space Mountain's there anymore. Is
Did they
it?
tear it
No,
down?
it's Splash Mountain that they
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but this Space Mountain.
retroactively erased from her history.
Does she like real life roller coasters?
Well, she's never really been on them, Bob. This will be a
Somebody
All
says-
new.
new experience.
Yeah, I mean you've got the little timbers.
Let's hope she
deal,
likes
the
them.
canyon.
Let's hope she likes
There's
them.
the rock and roller coaster, which is like the Aerosmith one, which
Be
is
a
like
long
0 to
weekend.
60.
Well, I told her when I was like 7 and went, I was scared of Space Mountain. She's like, I'm not going to be scared of it. I'm like, okay, cool.
All right, tough guy.
Let's
Yeah.
go do it.
Yeah,
then.
tough guy.
Yeah.
You've never been on any roller coaster anywhere. You've been on like tall slides. Let's see.
If she can do a tall slide, though, a lot of it's just simply the
Pressure's on.
overhyping.
I
in
don't
your
know.
mind.
It's the ching, 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 ching.
like
That's the,
the rock
scariest
and roller
part.
coaster. You get in and you're shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
So there is no like build up
Well,
to
that's
it.
good.
You watch the people in front of you leave, and you're like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
think I just peed my pants a
That's
little
what did
bit."
it for me. Yeah.
That's how Space Mountain is. It's the gun
It's
out.
the
of-
get and go. Because like
I like that they do that better than just the.
Because at Splash Mountain,
I don't like the
you
slow.
never knew because you were just gradually going
Yeah.
up and seeing all the scenery.
The Space Mountain one indoors?
Yeah.
Indoors,
Yeah, okay, I did that.
That's
Jay-Z
like one of
knows.
the originals.
Uh,
So
Anything about football? I mean, I could talk about this for the rest
Well,
of
I
the
mean,
show.
I
Justin-
mean, we
Justin
could.
Fields
full thing.
Justin Fields
He
graduated.
did graduate, and
Yeah, how about that?
your guys, Tommy and
Tommy and
Steele,
Steele, finance and real estate.
Ooh.
I mean,
Nice.
they would
Match
check
up
Coach
well
Stressel's
together.
box, graduate from Ohio State with a meaningful degree. I mean, making sure that we're always trying to MacTave or Tute.
What's an unmeaningful degree?
Now, there's ones that I think,
general studies.
yeah, they don't have that at Ohio State, thankfully. I tell people Michigan has the general studies degree. And I asked my daddy, what is that? He goes, you just take the requisite hours, a little bit of this, a little bit of
I
that.
feel like communications was
It's
that when
basically
we were
like
in
my-
college.
Justin,
It's basically
I'm
like-
just saying.
Justin,
A lot of guys did that.
It's basically like my.
I
own-
have my degree in that.
So
Well,
does
you
my-
probably took it more serious.
So does
than
my
they did.
wife. So, but it's like that's basically what my order is at Roosters because it's a little of this, little of that, chicken noodle soup, quesadilla, some hamburgers, some
It is
wings,
all
some
that.
salads.
All those
My
things.
kids, they
Oh.
order. I mean, I know
cheesy.
Roosters is known for wings, but my kids also order just about everything else they have here.
Yeah,
as well.
I didn't even know that Roosters had chicken noodle soup
Oh yeah,
until you went to
they said that. I go, they don't have chicken. They go, they got chili, and she's like,
It's
no.
one of our owner's favorite things, and
Oh,
it
it's
is
yummy.
so good.
Oh, the kids love it. That's why I got 3.
It's homemade.
I
mean,
text them now, and they're like, noodle soup.
I feel
That's-
like we got.
look at this new
It's
breading
our
on the.
recipe.
I did notice something over there.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at the steam coming off the
can't wait
cheesy
to
bacon
try
wedges.
one.
Guess what you can get
I imagine that might be the
appetizer 3's day.
It is.
appetizer 3's
Appetizer
day.
Thursday.
So what we're working with here is we've got the classic potato wedge.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some nice cheese sauce drizzled on there, and then we've got the bacon
the salt
spread
bay,
over
just
the
put
top.
some bacon bay,
And
on
you can
there.
see the steam coming off if you zoom in real close and
Oh,
make the box
they
bigger.
do. They look
Look-
perfect.
oh, look.
They
Nicole's-
do look perfect.
And Nicole's got all the bacon down
Oh,
here.
yeah.
She
Oh.
likes
This
it.
one looks good.
That one's
Yes.
coming out hot.
It's the featured appetizer for Appetizer Tuesday for only $3 all
Three.
Tuesday long. It's a 3's day.
Three's day.
3's day.
It's an appetizer 3's day. But I know Nicole was excited for Justin Fields to get his degree.
It is. I'm really proud of him. He's got so much going on already, and to just still take the time and know how important it is to just get that degree. I mean, have you ever met anyone
Who regrets getting it?
Yeah, no, anyone who never got their degree and they're like, yeah, I'm glad I didn't do that. No, they're always like, I wish I would have just finished.
We see them
So,
come back when they're adults and they're kids, and they're like,
Yes.
"Well, I never did this. Now I gotta, I want to be
Yeah.
a good role model for my kids."
Well, I get it. And some of the guys are like, I don't need this anymore in my life. I've already
Well, Justin
achieved
Fields is
requisite
one of
level
those, yeah.
success. Like even like a guy like Nick Mangold, you play like 11 years in the NFL. Like, do I really need to come back and finish like a class or two? But at some point, my wife, like in our family, is incredibly competitive. So like you throw out, if dad's got this or mom's got this, and like if mom graduated and dad didn't, I mean, they would be like, hey, tell us about that one class you still have left, Dad. Don't tell me I need to finish when I start.
Yep, exactly.
Hypocrite.
Exactly.
There's that.
So I mean that's good, and I just love seeing that because there is something in life that, to the completion you put in a substantial chunk of your life. These guys are putting in 2, 3.5, 4 years. Paris Johnson did it in a straight up 3, which is remarkable.
It's
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, and it's the dedication. Like you sacrifice, you put all this time in, and at the end of the day, they give you a piece of paper, and but
Yeah.
it's the most expensive piece of
I'm
paper
gonna-
you've probably ever gotten.
And I'm going to be honest, guys. I don't know, like with my degree, if I really, I don't know if I learned anything
Well.
necessarily, but because they didn't teach specific things that I've
You
learned.
learn
I've
your
learned
job
from
once you get into
experience,
it. Yeah, 100%.
But you do learn to commit to something, to study the knowledge, your brain.
I mean, as a marketing
There's
major,
a-
I mean, it is,
Yeah.
like you learn when you get out. I'm in sales, it
There's
is
a-
what it is.
There's just, gosh, I saw it on Instagram. I'm trying to think what it was from. If it was from one of the Rockies or Rambo, but it was Sylvester Stallone. He was driving
Yeah.
a
I
car.
don't think that was in
And
my
It had to be
seat.
one or the other.
Oh no, but he's talking. It may have been from the Tulsa King, where he's driving. He's like, the degree doesn't mean a whole lot. He goes, so basically, it's you're showing your employer that you went someplace for 4 years, you stuck to it, you're able to show up most days, do it reasonably well, and that they're hoping now that you'll be able to do that for them. Like,
Most days is right.
Yeah.
and it's like that's pretty much true. Like that you're just not going to flake out after a week and not show up anymore.
I'm not sure how true it might have been for you two, where you were obligated to show up, but for me or maybe Nicole,
The bigger question was, how
days,
can
there
I
were some
find
days I missed.
how can I find ways not to go to class and not get in trouble?
Right.
So it's scheduling. Like,
I never
don't
did.
schedule with other athletes. Make sure that
Be the
you're
only one.
make sure you're doing well enough that if you're not on the list, then they don't come
They don't
just
come
to
check.
your class.
Bob's there. He's taking care of business. We don't have to go.
Hey, the grades are coming in. Is Bob in trouble? Nope, he's doing good. Grades are all right. Okay, boom. Now, if you're in a class with guys who aren't, then you're just collateral damage because you're on the list. And I'm like, why are you checking me? He's like, well, we don't, but you're on the class list with the
Yeah.
other 15
Yeah,
guys.
even though you're getting an A, they are not. So we're
So-
showing up to see
yeah.
if you guys are there.
So it matters if I miss 2 classes, but yet get an A or a B. And the guy that went every time but slept the whole time, is that what we're looking at? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So, because this is the time of year where they're already graduated. We had spring quarter. We were all in quarters, and it's getting
Oh,
pretty nice outside. So
I remember
you may have
that.
just drifted into a patio at some point in time.
Which one, perhaps?
Well, there's the one on 15th. It used to be called O Patio or Zigs or 4K.
That was 4K, I
4K.
think, when we were there.
I
Yeah.
remember that.
Few different names.
That was the best.
So, they like to
I know
Flying
Midway
tomato.
is popular
They
now.
like to switch it
Midway's
up.
the
Oh,
rooftop
yeah.
one, I think.
Flying Tomato is what
You
it was
think?
for a minute.
I'm not sure.
It
It's
is.
always late when we
Midway, Bento
It's always
Go-Go.
late when we're
Yeah.
I love
Get the
that.
sake bombs.
with the kids.
Yes,
with the
yes,
kids.
yes.
All right, so I have one question for you all. That is football related. The college football playoff has confirmed and unveiled their dates for 2024. So
How
it feels
awesome
real.
is that?
I'm not sure if it is awesome.
Well, you get a lot of football, a lot of college, a lot of NFL, maybe some overlap.
So I wanted to see Nicole's reaction to this because she has to plan the Roosters Bowl trip giveaway. And now you're looking at the possibility of on-campus games on December 20th of 2024. So Ohio State could be at home.
Or they could be sitting at home waiting because they got to buy.
Who knows? Could be not playing at all. Could be waiting to go to the traditional bowl sites for the quarterfinals, which would be around New Year's Eve and New Year's Day again, as they have always been. But now like a team could play 4 postseason games. They're playing one of them before Christmas. And I know that I wanted Nicole to not be prepared for this conversation so that the gears would be spinning as she's now having to think about the 2024
logistics.
giveaway.
Well, okay, so we already have taken this into consideration. Sorry, guys, The Rock's on TV. Just taking a quick peek. I don't know what's going on there. But we've already taken this into consideration, and we've got a few different scenarios we're thinking about because it is going to kind of throw a wrench in things. So we're thinking about kind of altering the Buckeye Bowl trip promotion all together and giving away a few of the trips and then giving away a bunch of other prizes, things that might be a little more realistic for people to be able to attend. We've only had 2 people not be able to go, but I know it's been difficult for people with kids. It sounds silly.
It's
but
great
like,
to win,
sure,
and then
yeah.
then you got to figure out how to do it.
at
You
Christmas
get
time.
dog sitters. You gotta get
I mean, the little
babysitters,
things like
you know,
our
yeah.
flight, they're like, does the flight leave before the kids go off to, their camp or whatever they're signed up for? So, don't worry, we're thinking about it. Already got it in the plan.
Here's the real good news, though. So, I mean, you think about this. Ohio State, over the last, let's say, 10 years, I don't know if there's a scenario where they would have been playing the first weekend not at the shoe. Yeah. Is there a time where we've been below 8th in the final ranking? So it's going to either be at home one way or another, game or just chilling for the players. Second of all, you get that second round of games, which would then, move on, obviously. Then you get the third. And the championship is going to be on January 20th, 2025.
1 month later.
Which is 1 month later, which is also Inauguration Day. So we get that going for us.
Wow, what a doubleheader.
They're going to put screens up at the mall, they said,
goodness.
the lawn. It'll be tremendous. Just can't think of anything.
Split screen?
I don't know. And then they're going to be like Thursday, Friday games because the NFL is going to have some Saturday, Sunday action, wild card. And here's the reality. This will be for 2 years, and then they're going to have to change it all.
Why?
Well, they don't have to. But I'm going to tell you this.
They need to coerce the Rose Bowl into doing
Well, they will. They'll strong arm them to get whatever they want because the Rose Bowl is still getting to hold their 5 p.m. Eastern time slot, 2 o'clock local. But I'm going to do this. The playoff will most likely, I'm guessing, have a multimedia rights package where it's not just ESPN anymore and ABC. It'll probably be Fox and maybe NBC, basically how the NFL does it. Mm-hmm. All of those entities also broadcast NFL games. And so I know there's some overlap in there.
They're not going to have that.
Nobody's going to want to have overlap going against each other. They're all partners in the same thing. And so it's going to take some folks to get together. And this would be really nice if there was some great leadership in college football to figure out a scenario in which they could make this kind of coexist to where maybe there's a game that overlaps, but none of the television partners want that. And really neither of the entities do either because it's not good for anybody.
It's not.
The solution
for institution
is week 0.
Moving everything up a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Nicole's looking for. Longer football seasons.
What? I don't like this schedule. We've already talked about it. I think 12 was the dumbest possible solution that they could have come up with. And then I saw what the actual format was and the dates that they picked.
Then I thought they bottomed out, but there was there was one more level.
I thought it couldn't get worse, but wait, there's more.
Even lower. Like 5 days before Christmas. You're talking about, forget it, Berm and Bill and I talked about this last week. How does this impact us? Well, a long playoff run is going to be expensive to cover, and we're going to be gone for a month.
It's expensive for fans.
And that's the other thing. If it's complicated for us, imagine the people that are actually involved, the coaching staff, the players, the families, the friends, that whole deal, the fan base, over a month, and the potential that Ohio State probably is not going to play away from they would only play 3 times away, probably one here.
That's still 3 games.
That's 3 times. Right now, the most you have to do is 2. And then you are factoring in a Big Ten championship game. Who would even want to go to that? It doesn't have any stakes at that point other than potentially seeding. Both teams would most likely be in. assuming again that another assumption that the Big Ten gets rid of divisions and takes the top 2 teams and lets them play. Like, why would they do that? Just cancel it entirely. I think that needs to go. But they won't. I understand.
The dollars.
Get that money, baby.
If it makes
It's a TV show.
If it makes dollars,
I've seen
it
those
makes
commercials
sense,
on NBC for the Big Ten football already.
But that's what I
This
think is
weekend.
the absolute worst part. You're going to play 5 days before Christmas, and then you're going to have to leave, assuming that the Rose Bowl still wants people to go eat at the Lowry's Beef Bowl, on December 26th. Then you have to leave immediately after you play that game, like 5 on Christmas again. What have we done to these kids?
It's tough.
I don't
kids
agree with the holidays.
I
I personally don't. I think holidays, I think because here, like at Roosters, we look at holidays as, we opened up for New Year's because there are games on New Year's. We have to. But it's a day to be with your families. And I guess they start new traditions, but it is kind of weird. Like, why do we have to do it on Christmas?
Oh, in the
Day?
sports media, like you work, and like you said, you're in hospitality, and that's you understand that there's something that comes with it on some days. Whether it's Labor Day weekend or whatever. There's football being played, and that makes sense. But I look at it from the standpoint of you help schedule out these bowl packages. I mean, for a family of 4 to go to a bowl game, I mean, you're ringing in around $5,000 to go to these games, and you would be asking people to do that 3 times.
It makes
Well,
Disney
and
look cheap.
we've already been through that because didn't they start giving stipends to parents to go to
Yes.
these, to go to the extra playoff games?
Yes.
And so it's like we already know it's hard for these parents.
Urban stood up before the Sugar Bowl in 2014 and said, we're going to make these families have to pay twice on short notice, like at the most expensive time of the year.
At the most expensive time of the year.
Like, that can't happen. How are they going to see their kids play?
The
And
NCAA came
they
out and said
pushed
we're
that
going to do more.
And they did, like, moderately. It didn't solve
They
the
gave them a
complete
couple
problem.
$100. I mean, it wasn't like, hey, here's book your flights and send them to us. We'll take care
But
of
now
it.
you start having these games where it's like, oh, fans didn't show up. Like, what do you do to sweeten the pot for them to be at all those games?
Honestly, the reality is probably 2 rounds of home sites is probably the way that it needs to go. And because they're going to be mostly home field anyway. And then you have people what you have now is the 2-game travel, which is less than ideal. It's suboptimal, but it's still better than 3 or potentially even a 4th. I mean, if people want to go to the home sites. But the home sites, I think, because that's what they do in like the women's NCAA tournament. You have great crowds, and there's people that are there, and it's an electric environment. And I think that really incentivizes you then to play those big non-conference games. You win them. That's the delineating factor. Hey, you get 1 home game, potentially a 2nd home game, and there's real juice then to making a tough schedule to make sure that you can separate yourself when it comes to the criteria for seeding.
Isn't there already a playoff format like that somewhere, Bob, where you win and you get to play at home?
That's you would think. I mean, the NFL seems to figure it out.
Oh, yeah. The NFL has already provided that blueprint. That's weird. Can't do that, though, because college football is beholden to these bowls that are.
I do love blueprints. I don't understand, like, if you already see something's working, why wouldn't you want to just implement that in,
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's the best way. They've already done all the learning for us,
That's
and then
right.
we can try to perfect it once we do it,
That's
So
Yeah. Makes sense.
just a thought, just throwing it out there.
Makes too much sense.
Yep.
All right. Anything else going on at Roosters this month?
Um,
Everything's going on
just
at Roosters
yeah,
this month.
guys, school's coming to an end, so this is the perfect
Graduation
honestly,
parties, get your
graduation
orders in.
parties,
Get your orders in.
catering, but also just like I feel like in my household with sports and running places, it is so nice. Like we went to Roosters last night. It's so nice just to go in. Like Bronson was pretty gross from his lacrosse game, and we just
It's a fun
went,
casual
sat
joint.
down.
It's
Yeah, and it's
casual,
like,
that's
and you
right.
see all these other sports teams there, and everybody's enjoying themselves. It's really so. Just remembering that it's the hustle and bustle, and this can be kind of your relaxation place.
Hey,
So,
What did he have?
he had wings. I had wings too.
Well, I was at an event yesterday. Had the truck out there over in Hilliard.
Oh,
AJ
nice.
Glover.
Yes.
7-on-7
that
tournament.
was nice for you to go to.
Oh
that.
no, that's
awesome.
Hey,
Second
chips
year
out
they've
there,
had
Casey?
it. I didn't make it over to the truck.
Oh.
I was busy reffing games.
Oh.
I yelled at my wife. We took our kids.
Go get me chips.
Well, I said, the truck's over there. They have chips. And like my kids were melting down at this point. So we're like, we got to go. But
I heard it was hot yesterday here.
it actually ended up
It was
being
really
nice because
hot.
it rained in the morning. And, when we got there, it was still kind of drizzly, but sun came out, and it ended up being a great afternoon. But
Good.
yeah, but they were there supporting. It's
Awesome.
great of you guys, of course, to be doing that. Like
It's
you
a
do all the
great-
time.
Joel has worked for our company for over 20 years, and he started the AJ Glover Foundation for a
Yeah.
student who passed away in Hilliard. It's a really neat organization.
Yep, Roosters always giving back.
They do.
They're a great fixture in the community, and you can come support them at Roosters tomorrow They're also
For
helping
Threes
you.
Day.
Threes
It's
Day.
advertised at
Oh,
Threes Day.
yes. She
Threes
likes
Day.
it.
I love
Cheesy
it.
bacon wedges, which I can now say, well, I'm getting warm, getting
I know,
loose.
it's Monday.
Just in
loosen
time
it
for
up.
Nicole to leave as we take a break at the midway point. It's halftime at a fun casual joint. Thanks to Nicole for having us.
Roosters has been so fortunate. We just want to be able to give some of that back to the community.
They donate to organizations that are near and dear to their heart, and we're so fortunate to have been with Roosters now for a long time.
They will always go above and beyond to help support our foundation to further help veterans.
It's just a wonderful feeling to know that Roosters supports the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer.
All the folks at Roosters are just genuinely kind folks, and they want to make a difference.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
All right, welcome back into the Horseshoe Lounge at Roosters. It's a fun, casual joint. And Berm is here.
Hey, Bird.
In spirit.
You know, I did see Guardians of the Galaxy on Thursday or Friday, and what are all these negative reviews about?
I haven't seen any
Who gave
negative.
negative?
Like leading into it, there were a bunch of people. Oh, this movie sucks. Like,
I didn't
Who are
see
these people?
I don't know. I
Where
thought
do you
it-
read reviews? All the ones I said were
I see it on Twitter,
Turning
so
around.
I guess I forget that I'm on Twitter and
I
saying
don't even
before.
know. It's like it's turning around the MCU. They need to take lessons from what James Gunn was allowed to just run his own show.
I thought it was excellent.
It was awesome.
I thought it was really, really great.
The only thing that I read that was like gave us pause, and I was like, do we think the animal cruelty, is that going to be too much for Liberty? That was the only thing, was like a warning about that. But I knew that she could handle it because she's watched a lot worse than that. Spoiler alert on my parenting.
I thought it was excellent. One of my favorite. I mean, I need time to digest it and really place it in the entire Marvel universe, but it was pretty entertaining.
All you do is juxtapose that to Saturday. We were recovering from Taylor Swift, sitting there, and on AMC, they played the first two Iron Mans back to back. And one of my kids sat down there. I've never seen this one. What was this? He's like, and I had left and went to one of my daughter's games, and my third son's watching, and I go, was it with the guy with the whips? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's the second Iron Man. I go, the first one came out before your mom and I think we were even married.
20 years ago.
2008. And like the second one came out like probably not long after that. Maybe we were just married, but neither one of you, like your brother, maybe it was just more than 80. I mean, so now all of a sudden like you're 2023 and we're 25 movies later.
How is not Thor: The Dark World was good?
How many?
I didn't dislike that.
How many MCU entries do we think that Jay-Z has watched?
You guys are throwing these MCUs and Marvels around. I'm just like, I'm lost. I know they are different, whatever, but like, I can't tell you which one
He
to go
acknowledged
where.
that he's seen Iron Man.
I've seen Iron Man a long time ago, the first one. I saw the first two, and then I stopped watching. And
Do you want spoilers? Or?
Robert Downey
I don't
Jr.
care. Yeah, I mean, I liked the first two. I thought they were great.
Robert
I liked
Downey's-
Robert Downey.
He's great in all of them. He's all the ones he's been in. He doesn't.
I really had a problem when Captain America started coming around. I'm pro-America, but I just don't believe
his character.
I just don't believe this guy can't get shot once. And all these, because if he gets shot, he can die, right? I would rather you just tell me he can take a bullet and live than
Well, that's what he's got the shield for.
He's just so fast and he has a shield that he's never going to get shot in any of these.
You can't see bullets. Like
He's a super soldier, Jay-Z.
it's like the Matrix. He can slow them down.
I would rather that be the case than he just never get, like all these people shooting at him. John Wick, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
All these people shooting at him the entire movie, he never gets got.
You would like, yeah. You would really like.
It blows my mind. I can't sit there and watch it.
What's his name? Chris Pratt. Chris
Pratt. I like Chris Pratt.
He's really good.
I've seen the first two of the Galaxy
You would like
movies.
the third one.
I liked them. I would probably like the third.
And he's in like some of the Avengers stuff too. Like he's good. There's some crossover ones where they appear. Like,
Yeah, see, the crossover stuff,
he's good. I enjoy him whenever he's in it. Him and then, Thor played by what's his name?
The other Chris. If you're a Chris, you're in.
Thor's the hammer.
You can get pretty much any superhero role as long as you're a Chris. Yeah.
He's good.
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Who's the
guy?
Batman guy, isn't it? Yeah. Which are awesome.
But he's got Christopher, Bale,
Robbins.
Bale as Batman. You got Chris Pratt. You
Christopher Bale?
You got all the
I didn't even know that.
Christian Bale.
Christopher. Whatever.
Does he go by Chris though? I mean, it's Chris short for
I've
Christian.
I've heard he does go by Chris.
So anyway,
if you're
we're
in the
talking
know.
about Ohio State football today.
What about it?
I don't know.
I thought here's the question.
I know this is a fun, casual conversation.
I know. Well, look, what's today? May 8th. There's not a lot going on.
They're a week out of starting their off-season program.
I know.
Met,
I know.
Will Smith Jr. yesterday. Nice kid, big rear end.
Looks like his dad.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Very similar to that.
Yeah.
You know, Brandon Ennis arrived on campus on Saturday, so he's here now full time.
I saw some highlights of him being played on some show somewhere.
Yeah, he's probably. I mean, Carnell Tate has received so much aplomb over the last few months for the work he's done as an early enrolled freshman. Brandon Ennis is the other guy in that wide receiver group that you just, even though he's a little bit later arriving, there's a real chance for him to make things happen, whether it's in the return game, whether it's in the slot. He's just a different type of guy, and is probably the most competitive receiver I've ever seen in the high school ranks.
So why didn't he come in early?
Wasn't allowed.
Okay. All right. I was gonna say with the receivers being down, spring would have been a really good time. I mean,
it was a point of contention, I believe.
And he actually, for not being allowed, seemed to be in Columbus a good amount. Just not watching practices and being at practice.
Yeah, so he's officially on campus and ready to rock and roll. He gets there the same day guys graduate. Taiwan Malone, the defensive tackle, transfer from Ole Miss, visited Miami last weekend. That's pretty much going to be an Ohio State and Miami decision.
That is?
Yep. I guess we'll see what the priority is. Played baseball at Ole Miss his first 2 years.
What does he play? First position. Okay, I was going to say,
he's not moving around.
He's a defensive tackle. He's not,
DH.
He's not Deion Sanders out there playing middle.
It's a weird situation because, growing up in New Jersey where he played high school ball, I can't imagine he got like a crap ton of ABs, in high
great
school.
weather
You're not playing great baseball weather. So you're splitting your time between baseball and football in an area.
Cages.
Yeah, but I mean, New Jersey's cages are different. They're like literal cages. You may not get out.
So that's true of any cage.
So that's a challenge.
If you go into a cage, you have to accept the fact that you might not get out.
And this week, Ohio State. Just kidding. It's fine. No spoilers.
What a fake out spoiler.
So and then this week Ohio State will host Jalen Key to transfer the safety from Alabama Birmingham for a visit. I think Wednesday, Thursday this week. So
safety.
Do
we need more safety?
That's what I wanted to get.
What's the value? Ohio State already has a surplus of safeties.
I'd say in a pretty good, high quality player.
But this kid's decision, he visited Alabama, visiting Ohio State. If it comes down to a kid that Alabama wants and Ohio State wants, don't you just say we're willing to take as many good players as we can and let everything else just?
Can he play right tackle?
I don't think so because he's a safety.
Josh Simmons,
defensive tackle.
We're sitting here. Our secondary is healthy now, right? I mean, we've been through a couple of years of where we haven't had that, and we've had to put guys in. So they may just say,
but at some point,
as many as we can.
I know that we joke about the scholarship numbers not being real and different things like that. You can only play 11 guys, and it's really tough. We've got some homegrown guys. Look at the guys in spring ball, and like Sonny Styles is playing a good amount. This guy probably needs to play more. He's gonna, this time I'm not going to tell you who's going to play. I know there's a lot of guys playing good football in the spring in the back end, especially in the center part of that defense. And so there's got to be decisions made on how much guys can play. And are they happy if they're not playing 65-70% of the snap? You can rotate guys. I don't think anybody's going to want to be sitting over there on the side.
I felt this way. And Lorenzo Styles, you want to take him because of the athleticism and the family.
And he plays corner, which is a little bit different.
A little bit, but not dramatically, because he's not going to be factoring in that rotation this year in most circumstances. You think that's going to take him a year to learn the position. And Ohio State has good corners. There is a
fifth-year safety transfer. He is expected to come in.
Well, that's the difference for him as well. But the scholarship cap is real. There is a ceiling. You can't go beyond it. You get into August. Are those positions in the secondary where Ohio State has to continue to add? And I would say, for me, probably not. But there must be some element inside the Woody where they disagree.
Well, it's kind of a glamour thing. I mean, it's you and Alabama. And there's worse teams to be in competition with.
Sure.
Coming down to the final run. So I think you always probably explore it to see what the kid's interested in.
Or do they have any feeling coming out of spring where they may say, we might lose a couple of these guys here before the season starts?
Well, they did. I mean, they would have had to
portal's
get
closed.
What? Don't we have another one here, though?
No.
So it's done before until the season.
Yeah, you can pull guys out.
Okay.
The
You
guys
had to be
cannot
in.
get in.
Okay.
Guys cannot leave until after the season.
So the question is Ryan Day just a lot more cutthroat than people think? Because there's no reason here other than this guy could be an upgrade and we need to get better.
Could be, and how much, and what does that do to your chemistry?
And is that a problem?
Which he's talked about a lot before, is chemistry and not wanting to bring guys in
that don't fit.
Yeah.
Don't fit the culture, and also what are you promoting when you're bringing guys in? If you have a young guy who you've been developing, and is the guy better day one that you bring in? Maybe, but could the other guy be as good if he gets a little bit of playing time? And just watching guys go through the process, doing things right, and getting rewarded is important, I think, for program.
Well, what's the other part of that? Just from a logistical standpoint, we spent all of last year and a lot of the spring. Well, the safety-driven defense is more complicated than we might have thought to learn.
Yeah.
Like only Tanner McAllister seemed to really understand it as the year went on, and Lathan Ransom needed time, and Ronnie Hickman struggled later in the year, and Josh Proctor needed a full year to go in spring and understand. Okay, well, this guy has 1 year and really less than that because he didn't even get spring.
Yeah.
He'd have a couple of months in a camp.
Summer camp.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
It doesn't at all. So that's why, defensive tackle, I get. Right tackle, I get. I mean, it's like, do you bring in a wide receiver right now?
I would not.
So I'm saying, I know that the wide receiver room is the best, probably the most stocked on the team, but the safety room is pretty darn good.
It's 10 deep.
Yes, so there's a lot of guys there, and a lot of guys who I like are good players, good humans, like have done things the right way. That if you deserve to play, you should play.
So the question is, when you're building Ohio State's program, how do you compare it to what Alabama or Georgia would do in this situation versus what you want to be or what you always have been at Ohio State?
I think you look at Georgia, they've turned down guys.
They've been pretty selective.
Very selective. Like, is it a need or is this guy a massive upgrade or like an elite player? I don't know if this guy's a Pro Bowl safety sitting back there. So if that's not the case, I don't know why you would.
I don't think he would have been at UAB for that long.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you take some of our guys, we haven't let them get some experience and play at UAB, their film might look better than what it is here because what they've had, these opportunities they've had. And it's tough. It's tough too.
I just wonder if, because of the way the defense has gone in the last few years, Ryan Day and the coaches are going, we're just going to try anything. And maybe there's a point where you go too far, like saying, I need to step outside of my comfort zone here. Like, you have 9 or 10 really good players.
Make a good plan and stick to it.
Yeah, like, I don't think you need to freak out about the plan. Not
Ryan's
freaking out.
Ryan's talked about, about bringing guys in and just making sure everybody's a cultural fit. So, I don't know. And maybe this is just...
And maybe it's moot because the kid hasn't visited yet, and maybe he's not a fit. Maybe they're going to, bring him in for the visit and pass. But it's just an interesting question. Again, if you look at the roster, there's 2 spots where you're like, okay, you don't need anybody there. Safety is definitely one of them.
The conversation going into the portal closing was like, can they keep them all because they had so
Yeah. No, it would have been different if a couple guys left.
That's right.
Maybe
you had a couple surprises at the end of spring. Like, ooh, okay.
But I would rather keep the guys that you have.
And then part of the reason that it is more of a surplus is because they already added a safety from the transfer portal that was here throughout spring with Jahad Carter. So that one has been odd to me.
It's fascinating. Fascinating to watch the machinations.
So
yeah, that's what I did.
Who got to talk to the new tackle?
We all talked to it. Yeah, Josh Simmons seems like a really engaging personality. The conversation we had already had the Blocko sweatshirt on, said it made him feel sexy. I like that. Little personality. Enjoyed that. Bill talked a lot of ball, right tackle work with him. That was good. That conversation was on the podcast for Friday last week. I think he says he's going to be here tomorrow. That's when he shows up. I don't know what the expectations are right away, but
be a dude.
The reality is when we talk about like culture in Ohio State and what type of guys are fits, when you talk to someone like Josh Simmons, it is clear as day what we're talking about. And that is just the reality of it. And that's what Ohio State's built the program around the last 10 years. So, even Urban Meyer, for being as notoriously, cutthroat as he was in people's eyes, like, this culture is what he built. And the players that he brought in helped build. So it's fascinating to watch the struggle, I think, between who are you competing against versus what do you want to be.
But listen, I tell you, anytime if you're willing to sell out what you are for something else, like you're going to get me. You'll lose what you've been, and you're not going to probably get what you want. So that's, it's a slippery slope when you've seen teams do it. That's why I think Ryan's done a good job of identifying what type of team they want to be, how they want to build stuff, and continue to grow that way. It's like picking guys and making sure that, hey, they're the right guys. So,
well, that's what they're working on now.
You know who's the right guy?
Who?
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord is the right guy.
The legendary Star-Lord, I think.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by what they're going to do there.
They said Star-Lord will return.
I know, but they said the legendary Star-Lord. Is it going to be in a cartoon?
No,
is he going to be in the next Avengers film? Just him? I mean, what are we doing?
I think he's in
he said he would
spin-off.
He said he would return under his right circumstances, so whatever that means.
But then the stinger just said, will return. It didn't say asterisk.
Did something happen to the raccoon?
So we're not giving away any of the...
I don't care about spoilers.
I know, but there's...
They might.
They will.
They will.
Did something happen to the raccoon?
He's not going to see it yet. I don't even know if he's in this one.
There's an excellent film.
He's the star of this film, Jay.
Oh, is he?
Excellent entertainment.
Okie dokie.
So
this was
Can't
Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, the raccoon one.
Oh, yeah.
The raccoon.
Okay.
That's 2 thumbs up from the Horseshoe Lounge from me in Birmingham. Well, I don't know.
That's 6.
Bob likes it.
That's 6 thumbs up. 6 thumbs up. You can't beat that. We're spinning into movies because it's May. I promise we'll talk a lot more about football next week when we're back in the Horseshoe Lounge. It will be a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday, so plan accordingly. Appetizer Thursday.
You mean it'll be a Tuesday instead of a Monday? You said Tuesday instead of a Wednesday. Oh my
He hasn't
God.
been on his game.
It's perfect. I started the show poorly, and I'm going to finish it.
He's got Disney on the mind. Make sure you stretch it, man.
Full career
That'd
arc.
be big for
Yeah,
you.
that's going full circle,
Get a good
folks.
stretch.
I hope I was good in between, but if I wasn't, sorry, I'll try it better next time. I apologize for the effort. Thanks to Nicole Cox for having us in the Roosters. That's Jay-Z, Bob, and Berm. I'm Austin. We will see you next week at Roosters. It's a fun, casual joint.
I thought it was really good. Yeah, I've always really liked it. First of all, the music is great.